Hello everyone, and today we seem to have got a new job as a bit of a cult leader. Now, it's not something I'd usually recommend people do, but let's see if we've got the knack for it. We need to keep our minions inside it so that we are able to earn money from them. Preferably, we want to try and find places where there are multiples, but that may not always be possible. We do have a time limit for where we can collect resources, so it is just about getting as much as we can. We came away with 14 stars that we can use to increase the harvester's area, and that did unlock a fair few new upgrades for us. They do seem to jump just a little bit in cost. You know, the 5,000 down here, a little bit out of our price range, but we're not far off a couple of these other ones, so hopefully we should be able to get them fairly soon. Our increased range does seem quite big when you compare it to what we just had. It would be nice if it happened a little bit more often, but I feel like that might be something that we can work on in the next few runs. But with those 26, we can now increase our collection from 1 to 3, and if that does what I think that does, this should help us scale quite a lot faster, and it does exactly what I thought it did. Look at that, we got 66 from that run, so we can get this up to 7 per and increase our radius. I am just going to try and max out the amount that we get per time, just because that's probably going to be the one that scales the best, and the more money we can make, as we know, the better everything will be. So we do now have a 350. One of the upgrades that I wouldn't mind us being able to get pretty soon is having more, you know, more of these guys running around, because I feel like that would make this significantly easier than it currently is. But we are now getting 12 per time. I did see that we do have the option to increase the attack speed after this, so I feel like that's probably going to be something that we're going to want to do as well. I didn't see how much it was. Oh, it's only 160. Oh, that one actually goes up again. We'll do that first, because who wouldn't want more money? I just did another one, then I realized that that's actually ghosts, not stars, so we can't do that one yet. So we will use our stars to increase our harvester's area of effect up to max. We'll increase our attack speed up to 1.5, and we're going to add in a ton of new minions up to 16. So we should now be able to get some good groups of these dotted about. Hopefully that should make us a nice little bit of money. A little bit of extra range and attack speed would go very nicely with this, but we did go from making about 200 to making 520 that run, and that does mean we're going to start off by maxing those up to the 21. We'll increase our attack speed. We'll max our attack speed up to the 1.3, and that did use everything that we have available, but we do have like make minions spawn faster coming soon, increase the amount that we can have around. We don't have the currency for that yet, so we've got something else coming pretty soon, I'm guessing. Was just looking around, and we do have the option where we can start sacrificing our minions. We've got too many upgrades that does just use their worship at the moment, so we'll prioritize those for now, but I feel like we're gonna have to start sacrificing eventually. But before we get there, we are going to reduce the spawn time from 2.5 to 2.1 seconds, and we'll up our harvester round times up to 16 seconds. I've just done a couple of runs, and what I was thinking was it's probably worth actually getting this scythe protocol now, and what we'll do is towards the end of a run, in the last couple of seconds, we'll just start culling then. So we spend most of it making the worship, I'm guessing it is, and then cull at the end just to start gaining probably the ghosts. Alongside that, we are going to reduce the minion spawn time down to 1.9 seconds and up our round duration up to 20 seconds, which both those together should make it so that we are making a good chunk more money. It is going to mean I have to pay a little bit of attention to the time so that we can probably try and start culling towards the end, which I'm thinking we might as well just start about now. And it is just a change. It does take a couple of hits to cull them, so we do need to pay a little bit of attention to that. But we did get 6 ghosts from that one, which isn't a lot, but it does help us start off, and we can give ourselves a 10% chance that every second that goes past, we'd have a chance of giving ourselves a bit more time. We do mostly need ghosts now, apart from down here here where we need the 5,000 worship. So we'll probably do about a 50-50 of it, where we spend about 10 seconds doing a little bit of a culling, and then the other 10 seconds we'll just try and make a bit of worship. Fortunately, if we've tried to cull them, they don't really seem to mind that much, and they're still nice and happy to worship me, so we can still use them for my benefit. But in doing a 50-50, we got 18 ghost and 500 worship, which does let us buy some ghost upgrades, so we can upgrade the area of effect up to 160%, which should just let us get more guys in our ring. We do seem to now have a little clock tower that just got built, and that does give us a 50% chance of increasing the harvester round time by 5 seconds, and that was just because we were playing the game, so that is a nice bonus to get from just playing. We are going to use some of the 164 ghost that we have earned to increase our damage up to 4, and we'll increase the yield of souls up to 5 using our ghost. While they do now have more health, so it's still a 2-shot again, they should give us 5, I'm guessing, souls per. So we kind of want to try and keep these at a 1-shot range preferably, and we'll spend the rest to get a 5% chance that we get another minion when we sacrifice one. The fact that we're right on the edge of being able to 1-shot them annoys me far more than it should, but one little upgrade and we will be able to 1-shot them, which is significantly better for us. But we are now making 210 souls per, up from like the 20 we were making a minute ago, which does mean that we can use those to increase our harvester's area of effect again. We're probably going to want to put that up to max straight away, and then work on getting the damage output up as well, just because then we can affect as many of our minions as possible all of the time. We can now max that out up to the 190%. We are going to then save up for the jewel harvest, because that lets our damage one also collect souls, and I feel like that might fix one of the problems we're having, where we're having to pick and choose, because at that point there's no choice in it. It's just we can make everything at once, and who doesn't want that? I feel like some of my minions are starting off already damaged, and I don't know if they're just leftovers from the previous round where I didn't finish them off, or if there is a plague going around that we haven't dealt with, but there should just be a couple of these guys if that's the case. But we can now get jewel harvest, and we can increase the spawn chance up to 40%. We do then want to save up 2,500 ghosts to increase our damage output, and we're going to unlock the preacher when we reach 5,000 of the star. So we do now have the 5,000, which lets us unlock the preacher. We can use our harvester to activate discernment, which provide guilt. I'm assuming is that one over there. Alongside that, we do still want to save up the 2,500 ghosts, so we're going to increase our attack speed and our faith collection first, which, while not particularly useful right this second, you never know, there could be some faith upgrades hidden away behind her. But we are now going to actively try and get it 2,500 that we've said for the past like 7 rounds. So that is just a guy that we can follow around, and he will just give us some if there is other minions alongside him by the look of it, which in certain cases could be useful, but it's not the greatest at the moment because he does seem to run around by himself quite a lot, and him being by himself doesn't make us anything, so we might have to be having some words with him so we can actually do something useful. Just seeing that we can do some gambling, we're gonna have to take a look. We don't have any coins at the moment, but we gain them by completing rounds, and we are going to use our guilt to increase the amount of minions up to 35. Everything important is the souls, but we can increase the amount of guilt gained up to 7 and get a second preacher and make him preach for longer. That does unlock us a couple of extra buildings, the house, which is from buying minions, and the barracks from killing minions. If we go to our settlement, there's our barrack, and there is quite a nice looking little house. The barracks makes minions spawn already hurt, and the house just gives us 10% more of all resources. We do now have 2 preachers as per that last upgrade, and there does seem to be quite a lot more minions dotted about, but we do seem to have the same problem of our preachers are not going near anybody and are just running around by themselves, which doesn't really help us out that much. You'd think they'd have learnt their lesson by now. I have just been sat here drinking my tea, culling cult members, and it's weirdly cathartic. So we have saved up nearly 1,000 guilt, 1,700 ghosts and 13,000 10,000 worship. We are going to use the guilt to increase the amount of preachers again, increase the amount of guilt we gain up to 15, and increase the attack speed to 1.1, and increase their influence up to 130%. We still don't have the amount of souls that I want just yet, so we are going to have to keep going for that. But we did finish another mission for a windmill and a church, so we get to build those. Our town is starting to fill up. The windmill increases the faith collection by 20%, and the church is 20% extra guilt collection. We still don't have the graveyard, surprisingly, which we need to buy 2 more damage or minion health upgrades. So it would just be probably these ones over here, and that should do it for us. But we do have 4 coins, which we'll just dump all in, which reduces the round start timer, but we get 50% extra collection for 2 turns. I feel like I'm going to have to be on my A game for this one then. I didn't think gambling was going to be this good. The rounds do end really quickly, but we came away with 1400 guilt, which we can push to increasing our max minions again up to max. We'll use the 10,000 faith we've collected to increase the amount of starting minions up to 26. We'll increase the attack speed up to 0.9, and we might as well have our preachers preach for longer. We do only have this run to take advantage of all of those bonuses from the gambling we did, so hopefully we can at least get close to where we were before I accidentally spent everything. We didn't get close enough though, unfortunately, because we only made 500 souls. We do have the 1,000 guilt that we can increase the area of effect up to 205%. The next one is souls, so I'm not going to do it. Going to stay away from it. We are going to increase our damage. That is what we're going to do. I need to keep telling myself that, or I will go and spend everything and not get anywhere. And we finally got it. We did get up to 20,000 faith and 7,500 guilt before we got there, but we can now increase the damage, so we should go back to being able to one-shot them. We're going to spend 7,000 of a 7,600 guilt unlocking Divine Wrath, so every 10 minion kills we just have God smiting people. We're going to increase the amount of starting minions we have up to 31, and we'll give ourselves a 20% chance that for every second we'll just gain a bit more time. We will spend all of our coins rolling in a casino, which gave us the Distorting Gaze again for an extra 50% resource collection. And as we should now be one-shotting everyone, and we have God helping us, we should make a good amount more, I would hope. It does feel like we need more minion spawns though, so we'll see if we can get more of those. Every time we kill minions, they spawn more, because the board's a little empty. We've got a few options for upgrading the amount of minions that come out, so we can either double the spawns or we can reduce the time that it takes. So I think we're going to aim to double the spawns, which does mean we need to save up 30,000 guilt, which, considering we're getting maybe like 3,000 per run, it will take us a little bit of time. So we're going to increase the amount of preachers we've got, which should hopefully increase the amount of guilt we're getting. We'll also increase our harvester's range up to 220%, and we'll save the guilt. No matter how much I want to spend it, we will save the guilt. We've actually got a near enough completely empty board because of how quickly we can kill everyone off. Killing everyone does give us 4,000 faith, 700 souls, and 2,200 guilt, which we can't really use for a whole lot without spending stuff that we're trying to save up. So I'm not quite sure. We need guilt for that, so I can spend the souls increasing our attack speed up to 0.7, and we can increase the duration of the rounds up to 22 seconds, and we might as well spend our faith increasing the area of effect again, and back to trying to get 30,000. We are nearly a third of the way there, so it is slowly getting there. I know it is every 10 kills that we get God's Wrath helping us out, but I didn't really expect God to be smiting so many of my cultists quite so often, because he's just proper helping us clear the field. I've just seen an upgrade over here called the Pit, which costs 20,000 faith but causes minions to fall inside it. I know I shouldn't. I know I should be sensible, but I'm buying a giant hole that makes people fall inside it. I have to, and I'm going to spend some souls increasing the length of time of our runs up to 28 seconds as well, and I'm hoping that we get to see the pit. We do. It's just a hole in the middle of the screen that tries to tempt people into it. That is absolutely amazing. I don't know if any of our minions are going to live long enough just yet to fall in it, so probably wasn't a sensible investment, but it's a funny investment, and those are the ones that we like. So we can now use the 15,000 faith that we should have spent a minute ago, increasing the maximum amount of minions we start with up to 36. We do have a few upgrades that affects the pit coming up that does use faith, so we still do have something to waste it on, and they just seem honestly like it's going to be very fun. We do now have enough that we can just double the spawns of minions at any time. We can use our 10,000 faith to increase the duration of the rounds, and we'll increase the chance of minions falling into the pit up to 30%. We'll spend our excess guilt increasing the preacher's influence range as well, and we might as well use our souls to increase our damage as well. We're not really going to hit a time where we needed that anytime soon, but always helpful. And I think we just grew a tree. Oh, it was a graveyard. Oh, okay. I honestly thought that was just a tree. I didn't see the graves there, but the graveyard increases our soul collection as well. And we do have a lot of coins that we can use, which gives us an extra preacher, which might be helpful, could be helpful, who knows. If you actually play to try and get guilt, you can make a good amount per run, but then you make nothing of anything else. And I don't really know at the moment if I want to prioritize guilt that much when we've got soul upgrades still dotted about, so probably won't until we're just stuck with those. But we are going to increase our pit size by nearly double, to be fair, so it is quite a big hole now. I don't think I've seen anything walk into it yet, but I feel, oh, there was just one, but I do kind of kill near enough everything, so it doesn't really have that much chance for the minions to jump in the holes. And our preachers do seem to spawn camp the center of the map at the moment, so they kind of catch the stragglers as well and just lock them in place. But that was our last run with the increased preacher count, so we'll just throw another 5 coins in and gamble, and 50% extra resources. With us trying to save up a good amount of guilt, this is probably gonna help in the grand scheme of things. During that round, I was thinking, do we think we can stack extra bonuses on top? I am going to test that by throwing another 5 coins in, which gives us a 3 turns of a 50% chance to double spawn. And we do have the guilt required now to reduce the time it takes for a minion to spawn down to 1.65 seconds. It is only 12,000 for the next one, so that is looking mighty doable. And we can get multiple buffs going at once. I might have to just stack up the buffs for this one then, with us having the increased minion spawns as well, in hopes that we can get another distorted gaze afterwards. Not my favourite. We did only get the increased preacher chance, and I thought I'd just throw the singular coin in we had in hope. It didn't really get us anywhere, so we are then going to spend 20,000 of our faith to increase the pit size up to 240%, and there isn't really anything jumping out for me yet because I still do want more spawns, but we do now have a large hole in the centre that everybody's just running towards. I think it would be quite interesting to see how high we could get that. If we can get that to 100%, like falling chance, is everyone just going to sprint at it? And if so, does that mean I don't have to be here? Could we fully AFK this? Even with that at 50% chance for an extra spawn, it does still feel like it's getting a bit empty. So I'll go up to 1.3 second spawn times. It is now 15,000 guilt, so another 2 or 3 runs should get us there. So I'm hoping this might help us not feel like the enemies run out at the end of a run. And that is the 15,000 to drop that down to 0.8 seconds spawns. And we can also increase our faith collection from 27 to 67, which is going to be huge for dumping into the pit when I've just seen we have a 5 million cost one coming up. So we are going to spend 30,000, increasing the pit size to 310%. And I feel like we kind of want to up his chances to eat people pretty soon, because he does give us triple the resources of everything else when he eats things, but it's still not often enough that he does it. I am trying to not cull the ones I can see running towards the center of the screen, but sometimes they decide to run back and that annoys me, so I just kill everyone. It can't be helped. A good culling should teach them to just jump in the hole. I've just noticed something quite funny in that run. If I get a really good harvest at the start, it can actually lag the game out with the amount that the lightning is trying to calculate how many times I have to go off. It's such a funny thing to happen. fun. Yeah, I like it. It's weird. We are going to spend a little bit of our guilt to max out the chance that our timer just goes up, and we will spend our faith on increasing the chance for everyone to jump in the holes, which should be about a 50% chance now. We do still have a resource upgrade and the big Devourer one, so we do have a good few things to spend it on up ahead. And just look at how big that hole is, and everyone does just kind of run for it as well. So I might do a run next time where we just compare how much me actively moving around, and then compare that to a completely AFK run where I just put the mouse in the corner and let everyone run in. And I'll let you know what the difference is, because that might dictate how we do things going forwards. Okay, so with me actively playing, I get 31,000 faith, 3,000 souls, and 11,000 guilt. And with me not actively playing and a completely AFK run, I get 18,000 faith, 2,500 souls, and 200 guilt. So we do get substantially less, but if I did just go and cook and put my auto clicker here, we could actually majoritively AFK this and come back with a decent amount. That is something for us to consider in the future, because right now we have some upgrades to take a look at. We're going to use 20,000 guilt, increasing the amount of minions up to 45, and we'll spend 40,000 faith, increasing the resources we get from the pit up to 300%, and the next one is 1800%. See, with that upgrade, I feel like the AFK strategy is probably going to be the way to go, which feels absolutely wild. Obviously, unless we want guilt, which we do still need quite a lot of, because they don't really get activated when, you know, they're doing their own thing. For whatever reason, they are not willing to have sermons by themselves. As we've got quite a lot of the guilt that we can spend on whatever we like, I am going to boost the amount of guilt that we get up to 30 and increase our preachers ranges. I am majoritively just trying to activate our preachers in these runs. I'm not really trying to kill anything and just kind of let them go and do their own thing. Obviously, I do one-shot them at the moment, so there is a high chance that if there's a big group around a preacher, they are gonna get cold, but I am mostly just letting them jump in the pit if that's their so choosing. And they do seem to quite like jumping in the pit, so it does seem like that was a sensible choice for us, as the pit did get us 22,000 faith and 2,500 souls. Cannot complain at how good our pit is doing. We will increase the health of our minions up to 9 and 17 and 41. I didn't know we had that many souls lying around. Fair play to us. With it being 41, I feel like we're not going to one-shot them anymore, which means we might get quite a lot more guilt in just organizing those, but we do only need 25,000 more souls to increase our faith collection as well, which will mean getting the 1800% bonus will be a lot quicker. Yeah, it's a two-shot now, so we should be able to get the preachers. We should be able to get the preachers going a lot more often, and they should be able to get bigger groups of minions with them not dying straight away. Yeah, them not dying is quite a ridiculous upgrade when they can jump in the pit, because they came in with 157,000 faith, 35,000 souls and just jumping in the hole, and 61,000 guilt. Jesus. So using that, we are going to upgrade our faith collection from 67 to 867, and we're going to increase the maximum amount of minions we can have up to 55. So we are going to have an awful lot more of them around, and we do just make more money. We are going to do another run where I do just concentrate on keeping our preachers giving their sermons, and if people so choose, they can jump in the glorious pit. That very quickly let us get the 200,000 faith we need to go from a 300% bonus to an 1800%, and we do only need another 100,000 to go from 1800% to 4800%, and we only need another 30,000 guilt to get even more minions. I think we found the way to do it, and we would have been here a lot sooner if I had more than one brain cell. We have definitely run into this problem before, where my lack of brain power has made me make games harder for myself, but I was going to say we'll learn, but we don't. We did brute force our way through everything, and there's the 700,000 that we needed to up our resource collection up to the 4800% when they jump in the pit. 8, and that is up to 70 minions. We do now only need 5 million faith. Considering we only need the faith, I think just actively going AFK is probably the best way to do it, and just have everyone jump in the pit, because we get more resources from them doing that. We can't accidentally kill them, and they won't be stopped by our sermons. And we are already up to 2.5 million, by the way. Insane. I love multipliers, man. They just go crazy. So we went from 800,000 to 3 million that run. If we just give it one more run, we'll have that upgrade. And there we have the 3 million needed to bring our pit to life. That means every single time he eats, he has a chance to grow and eat everything. And we have offered our cult to the hole, and the hole has accepted and eaten the world. So this has been Let It Consume. This is planned for release in March. I hope you've had fun, and I will see you in the next one.